Craig Parker here, Parker's Property Sourcing, just coming at you with another video today. And today we're going to be breaking down the Renters' Rights Bill. So what it actually means, how it impacts landlords and investors, and how we can adapt and even take advantage of the changes. In the news and stuff, there's been a lot of noise about, this and how the negative spin on it. But I just wanted to give my spin on it, make it quite clear and practical for everybody watching this video. It's not a scare tactic. It's just a few facts and insights. So I hope you enjoy the video. So what we're going to cover in this video is the overview of the Renters' Rights Bill, from what's changing and how it impacts property investors. I'm going to share my personal thoughts as well. What I think it's going to do to the property market or to the buy-to-let market, and what opportunities are hiding within these reforms. Because I'm a positive person. I've got a positive mental attitude, so I always look for and find the key positive notes out of any change that comes. So that's what we're going to be covering in this video today. So what is the Renters' Rights Bill? It's the government's new approach to reforming the private rental sector, basically. It's all about giving the tenants more security, improving the standards, and modernising the system. It's going to be building on the old Renters' Reform Bill. So I'm not sure if you guys have been following that, but this is just like the next phase to it. So it's more focused on the balance between landlord and tenant rights, basically. So it's not just leaning over towards tenant rights. It's also landlord rights as well. And it's meant to create a fairer and a more transparent rental market. So for me, already, we're on the third slide of this video, and I'm already letting you guys know it's not, heavily weighed over to tenant rights. It's also landlord rights. And it gives us landlords an opportunity to really, get all of our ducks in a row, get everything compliant, but turn our investment portfolio, or even our one investment or our portfolio, into an actual business. And if we're doing things like actual business people, we need to make sure that all of our ducks are in a row where we're compliant. We're doing everything that we need to be done to be in the right place at the right time. So whatever changes may come, whatever compliance that needs to be adhered to, we need to make sure as landlords and investors that we're doing it, and therefore we're able to rent out our properties. Simple, really. So let's go through the main updates that we need to know. Section 21, no fault evictions are being scrapped. Section 8, which lists reasons you can regain possession, is being expanded. Yeah, so those two first points there. One's leaning towards the tenants, the other one's leaning towards the landlord. So we're balanced. Yeah, it's very balanced. Number 3, tenants can keep pets more easily. So if the landlord basically, with this one, if the landlord basically doesn't want you to have a pet in the property, they just need to have a really valid reason to refuse it. And finally, there's going to be a national landlord database. So if you're a landlord, you need to be registered. You're going to need to be registered on a database. There is some areas that I currently invest in that you need a landlord license anyway. So to go through it all, and the process to go through it was very, very easy. Very, very easy and straightforward. And I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the same sort of thing. You're just registered on a database as a landlord. So really, the days of operating under the radar or cutting corners are a thing of the past. The government wants full transparency across the board, which is fine, because we're professional, landlords, we're professional investors. We need to make sure that we're doing everything in the right and, legal manner anyway. So again, this is a very balanced this is a very balanced thing here. It's not more weighing towards tenants. It's not weighing to more towards landlords. It's very, very balanced so far from what I'm reading and discovering about this, renters' rights bill. So, Section 21 evictions are being replaced, or the no-fault evictions are basically being replaced. So up until now, landlords could end a tenancy without giving a specific reason, and that's no longer allowed. You have to use Section 8, which means you have to follow a valid reason such as selling a property, serious rent arrears, or antisocial behaviour as one of the reasons to evict a tenant. This is a big change. So as long as you've got a solid process and a clear communication with your tenants, you're going to be fine. But you can't, as a landlord, you can't get rid of the tenant because they're calling you and saying that there's loads of different problems with the house and they're stressing you out, sort of thing. That's not going to be allowed anymore. You have to have real clear reasons to why you want the tenant out. And I think, again, that's fair. Me as a landlord, I don't want the tenants to leave the property unless those 3 reasons: I'm selling, they're late on their rent, or there's really bad antisocial behaviour and they're wrecking the house. But any other reason, if I don't particularly like them or we don't get on, that's not a reason to evict them, So again, I think it's a nice balanced view and it's nice and fair for tenants and landlords, the Section 21 evictions being replaced, in my honest opinion. So pets, database and tenancy rules. So we're just going to elaborate on what I spoke about a minute ago. So the tenants will have a right to request pets and landlords must have a valid reason to refuse, basically. So if you refuse, you'll need to have a clear, fair reason to why you don't want the pets in the house. Again, it's one of them things where it's going to be, if you've got a real good enough reason for them not to have pets or a pet in the house, then you can put it forward. If not, you're going to have to make sure that your rent, your void period, your refurb cost after they move out is all catered into the rent on a monthly basis to cover yourself. Again, a nice balanced view, If somebody wants pets, let them have pets, but they might have to just pay a little bit extra. There's nothing wrong with that. The mandatory landlord database registration. So there's a lot of landlords basically that cut corners and don't do things right. So I think getting everybody into a database and then we're agreeing to be compliant with all the rules in the UK to be renting out your property is a good thing. It's good for landlords because it protects you, legally, and then it also protects the tenants living in the property as well, which is good. This one, the last one, periodic tenancies are going to become the standard. So what does that mean? It means that fixed term tenancies are going to disappear, basically. So tenants can give notices at any time. So you got somebody in your property, they can give you a month's notice and then move out next month. Yeah. That's a little bit more swayed towards, the tenant side of things. But as a landlord, we just got to make sure that we're on our toes. We are catering when we're buying our buy-to-lets and we're doing our return on investments. We are catering in void periods. Maybe we can cater in a bit more void periods now to work out and say, okay, well, within the 10 years of having this property, it might be vacant for this amount of time. So when I'm doing my return on my investment before I make an offer on this property, I'm catering all of these things in. That's it. You may get a bit more void periods with this. You may not, because I just feel like you build good relationships with your tenants, with your agents. They won't just be throwing you under the bus and giving you a month's notice. You've looked after them. The house is in good condition. Anytime that there's anything that needs to be done in the house, you are reacting quickly. They're going to be more fair with you, I believe. So There's ways around it, to be fair. So I'm saying more void periods, but it might not be the case, because if there's clear communication between you and your tenant and your estate agent, you'll know that when they're moving out, you can get it back on the market, and work together to avoid the void periods, basically. So, what does this all mean in practice, basically? And what impact on landlords and investors does this have? For me, it means landlords will face more accountability, more paperwork. There'll be less flexibility when it comes to evictions, which I don't think that's a bad thing. There's also a silver lining, in my opinion, because you're going to get more stable tenancies, better long-term tenants, and a cleaner image in the landlord sector. Very, very good, very, very positive. And the landlord the landlord who already treats their portfolio as a professional business are going to adapt the quickest, in my opinion. Those landlords who have been a bit more hands-off and ignoring problems, it's going to be a massive wake-up call. But if you're somebody that watches my videos, tenants are very important, and making sure that everybody's happy and looked after, tenants, estate agents, property managers, landlords, makes it a happier place, So I believe, legal compliance is just going to become more critical. But if you're already doing it and you're already being compliant as a landlord, the change is going to be minimal for you, very, very minimal. So what are the opportunities hidden in the change? So an opportunity could be tenants may stay longer, reducing void periods. Maybe, as I said in a few slides before, it could go the other way, but it could also mean that tenants could stay longer, reducing void periods. Compliance, build reputation and trust, 100%. I believe that everybody that rents out their property to human beings need to make sure that they're compliant and doing everything that needs to be done so it's safe for the tenant. So for me, compliance, build reputation and trust. I strongly believe that, to be honest. And then at the end, distressed landlords may sell, creating buying opportunities. This for me is where I'm going to start thriving, because as I said in my previous video, these are the times where it's time to buy, because landlords are selling up because they're scared that they have to be compliant. They have to stick by the rules, they have to get the gas certificates. They have to make sure that their EPC rating's a certain standard. They have to make sure that they're, all of the compliance is adhered to, and a lot of landlords won't want to do that or won't know how to do that. So they'll just end up selling through being scared. And then here we come along as smart, savvy investors, and we buy them. And then we become compliant and rent it out and get good return on our investments. So just following on from the previous slide, it's not the end for landlords. I think it's the evolution game. So the days of casual letting are over, but the professional landlords are going to thrive, like yourself, like myself. This is all positive. The professional landlords will thrive in the changes that are coming. Yeah, we really, really will. If you run your properties properly, communicate well, you follow the rules, you build stronger relationships, and you get a better reputation, this bill is going to separate the serious investors from the ones just looking for quick wins. That's all it is. I've always said I'm trying to build a portfolio for the long term. I'm still young now, and I've got a growing portfolio, and I'm trying to build it for the long term. So longevity means that I can't cut corners. This is not anything I talk about in any of my videos is a get rich quick scheme. No, that's not what I'm pushing and promoting. I'm talking about steady cash flow, capital growth, rising year on year on year. You start investing now, you look back in 10 years, you've got a nice portfolio, and your equity is doubled, if not tripled. you know. So to get to that place, we need to make sure that we are compliant, we're adhering to all the rules that the UK government are putting in place, because it's to protect us, not just the tenants. So that is my honest take on this renters' rights bill. So as I'm a kind guy and I'm giving and I'm caring and I'm sharing, I've put in a few 4 action steps for landlords that you can take away from this video, and that I'm going to be doing, or I'm currently doing, and you guys should do it yourself if you're a landlord, or if you are planning to be a landlord within the next few months or years. I've just put in 4 action steps for landlords. The first one is review current tenancy agreements. Yeah, so and if you're unsure, review it with the estate agents. They'll be in the knowledge. They need to be compliant as much as we do. So review them, make sure that they're compliant with the new rules, basically. Ensure compliance with the new rules is the second one. Kind of just matches up with the first thing. Just make sure that your tenancy agreements are compliant with all the new rules. Yeah. The third one is register when the database opens. So as soon as this landlord database is open, and you need to register on it as a landlord, if you're a landlord, just get it done. Just get it done and get on there, and anything that you need to get changed or sorted, just do it. Just get it done. And then the last one would be stay informed and adapt early. The way you do that is by subscribing to my channel. Yeah. Keep a lookout for all the updates. I try and be as on the ball as I can be. This video has been quite in depth. It's going to be a 20-minute video today, but it's for all of us and myself to stay informed so we can adapt early and counter any changes that come to the market, So the key takeaways from this video and from this renters' rights bill is that the bill raises standards and rewards professionalism. Yeah, that's one key takeaway. And then the landlords who adapt early will have an edge in the new rental market. These are 2 big things that we need to be taken away from this video, that we need to be taken away from these changes that are coming. We will thrive if we adapt and make the changes early, and then we start putting professionalism at the forefront of everything we do when building our portfolio, or even if we just got one property. Treat it professionally as a business and we'll be fine. There'll be no issues whatsoever. And that is the end of this video, the Renters' Rights Bill, explained by myself, Craig Parker. Really hope you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more property insights if you want. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Give us a little comment. Give us some feedback. Let us know how you're going to adapt yourselves and your portfolio to, be in the leading position for any change that comes up through this Renters' Rights Bill. I've been Craig Parker. Till next time.